Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to day 2 on our series titled Pleasing God or Trusting God. Now, yesterday we set the stage here on this little short lesson series we got, a little 4-part series. It's day 2, halfway through after today. But we set the stage. You're walking down a path, you come to a crossroads. One path says pleasing God, the other path says trusting God. You go the pleasing God route because you want to make God happy, right? Go the pleasing God route. You get over there, you get loaded down with stuff, and although you might feel good about yourself, you're kind of confused. You don't really know if you're trusting God or not. You don't know if you're pleasing God or not. So you come back to the crossroads, you go down the trusting God path, and there you run into Jesus, and he says, trust me. And you start walking. Now, you were walking along. Now we're going to proceed, right? You're walking along this path, and God tells you, he says, you don't like your job, do you? You don't really like where you work. And you're like, well, it provides everything I need. I'm happy, it's okay. He goes, yeah, well, it's going to change. And then he goes away. And you're like, what? So you keep walking. That scenario specifically happened to me in my previous job. I was riding to work, talking to God, and he said, you don't like your job, do you? And I said, I love my job. I like my job. It pays for everything I need. It supplies me. We're all good. He says, well, it's going to change. And I was like, what does that mean? And I didn't know what it meant. And 3 months later, I got laid off. And it was one of the funniest things because when I got laid off, I actually smiled. My boss told me the day before, hey, just to let you know, I'm going to have to let one of my team members go. And I said, it'll be me. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that. The next day he called me and said, hey, it's you. I got to let you go. And I was like, I know. And I brought my stuff and I was happy. And even the HR lady doing the exit interview thing was like, I've never seen anyone happy. And I was just like, God's got this. I don't know. I don't know what lies ahead. But I was told 3 months ago that God has got this. And it was an overwhelming feeling of joy and compassion to know that the Lord spoke to me and I was trusting God. At the same time, it was scary because I didn't know what lies ahead. All I knew was I'm trusting God. Lo and behold, 2 months later, 6 weeks later, I got a call out of the blue for a company I hadn't even applied for to come to work for them. And that's where I'm at now. But I was trusting God. And sometimes that's what God wants. That is what, not sometimes, but that is what God wants. In Hebrews 11:6, it says, it is impossible to please God without faith. It is impossible to please God without faith. Now, that's a double negative statement. Impossible and without. Those are two negative words. You take those out, and that statement reads, faith pleases God. Faith pleases God. How do you have faith? You trust in Him. Trusting God, having faith in God pleases God. Now, with that said, I want to quote Luke Skywalker. Yes, I know, I'm a nerd, but Luke Skywalker, in the latest Star Wars movie, he says, this is not going to end the way you think. Or this is not going to go the way you think. That can be applied to your Christian walk, my Christian walk, any Christian's walk. Why? Because we don't know the way of the Lord. Only He does. We have to trust Him. And it's in that trust, not knowing. We can only assume, project ahead, worry, doubt, fear. But we've got to trust God. Trust God. It's not going to go the way you think, so you might as well just trust God and forge ahead. That's my daily drink for the day. Y'all be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow.